So I hope you can see the jacking point up there, all nicely done. Quite pleased with that. I've taken the time also to seal up inside in the front wheel well, made good the chassis leg, and what you will notice is that there's a second-hand wing has actually been put on here. This is a pattern part which I found on Facebook Marketplace, so I've fitted that as well. So I'd like to say that I've got 99.9% of the welding done. There is a little bit more. I'm not going to be doing any more welding with that. So no more videos for welding. As far as I'm concerned, that's now done, and I'll deal with that independently. There's lots of other things to do on this vehicle. So we've got the brakes to bleed. I've got driver's seats to repair. I've got wheels to refurbish. I've got to get the vehicle through its MOT. I want to do a few little trick things too. So things like I want to fit USB sockets in the car for our phones and things like that. Maybe put a head unit in that's got a Bluetooth system on it, and a set of air horns and other little things as well. And just to, you know, creature comfort kind of thing. So stay tuned. There might be something you might like to see. So the plan of attack is this. Basically, I've got a full set of seats for this vehicle, including the passenger seat. Now, as with all UK cars, the passenger seat never gets anywhere. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to strip the passenger seat down and take out of it the stuffing at the back of the seat, and try and make an effective repair underneath that cushion. So I've basically got to take the seat apart, and that's a bit of a time-consuming job. So I'll show you that what I do step by step, and hope that we don't break anything. Speak soon. Okay, so a common problem with a lot of cars these days is the driver's seat assembly getting excessive wear on this corner. If you see, someone's actually tried to repair this, stitched it all together, but the frame's actually poking through the upholstery. The foam behind it is actually gone. The material's actually torn. Now it can be fixed. I could send it to an upholsterer and get it sorted, but I'm going to try and see if I can effect a good repair myself. I do know that the trim in this car is specific to this vehicle, so I'd like to try and keep it original. A friend of mine has actually given us a set of seats that he no longer requires, and I'll show you that. I don't know if you can actually see, but this is the driver's seat, and while the material is solid, it is worth pointing out that the frame's actually starting to poke through. So we've got a similar problem as the other one. How can we fix that? Okay, so we've got to disassemble the seat, and basically what I want to do is remove this back piece so I can strip the skin off. That's actually held on by a bolt here, which is part of this mechanism here, and a clip here. And once we've got this released on both sides and slack this nut off a little bit, we should be able to literally just remove this part of the seat away from the base. So the seat's actually well, it's a sleeve basically that's slid over the top of the seat frame, and then two parts are pushed together in a very tight seal to hold it all in place just along this seam line here. So all we use is a blunt tool, so we don't damage the trim, and we're going to lift this out of the seal. I'll show you halfway through. So hopefully you can see here how it actually sits inside that piece of trim, which is, it's basically, well, part A fits to part B by sliding inside of this little groove piece. So literally we're just going to go all the way along here now. Now we've started it off, and that will free up the whole of the skin. The skin's now free. Okay, this bit pulls off of the back of the seat frame. It's literally clipped on at the back, and our seat skin is now free. What we've got to try to do now is get our hands up on the inside to try and release that seat release. Right, so to release this, basically what we're going to do is we're going to slide our tool literally underneath this edge here and flick this one up. There we go, and that's now free. Next bit is to get our hands on this, and I'm going to try and attempt to do that from going up on the inside of the seat and compress the tube to push it back up. Be very careful with this because obviously it's brittle and it will break. Well, unfortunately I cracked mine, but it's not beyond repair, so I put that down as a half win, but effectively if I was going concourse we wouldn't have had a win on that one. So anyway, the seat skin's now able to roll up a little bit further, and what you'll see is that there's about 4 tiny wire clips that are holding the seat skin actually into the padding. So we've got to release those. Literally it's just 2 pries and pull the thing apart and then unfeed it. So here we go. Right, so we managed to get the skin off. You'll find that the head restraint pins literally just knock back through. They're what they call an interference fit, so they're literally just squeezed into the tube. If you give them a gentle tap with a hammer so they pop out, they'll come straight out. If we look at this, which is the driver's side, what we'll see is this area here on the bolster has now started to cut through on this original wadding, which is what gives it that hard feeling, and you can actually feel the metal piece underneath. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off all the extra padding that's all the way around here and also on the back of the car seat, and I'm going to use that to actually reinforce this part on my seat and this bit. And then when I put the skin back on, it will pull out, hopefully, because it's a bit fuller, it will pull all the fabric a little bit tighter. So the next thing to do is to start just literally to unpeel this as best as we can. Try and keep it all in one piece so we can lay it over the existing seat, the one on the good frame that I wanted, which is here, where this is all proper and solid. So to remove this foam which is stuck on here, basically I'm using a wide sharp chisel, or sharp thing, and gently just prise it off. It's going to take my time, but I need this piece of foam, so you'll see why in a moment. Right, so what we also need to be doing is checking that these bars, which are part of the bolsters, are actually straight and true. Because obviously if you've had some fat chap like me getting in and out of it, you might find these got a bit of a bend on them, and not necessarily lining up straight. All right, so we get those nice and square, and then what we're going to do is put the new or replacement padding back on here. This is the one that's not damaged on the inside. So this basically has come off of a passenger seat, and we'll start to rebuild the seat. The skin across the top of the seat, and we start to put it down. We now have got to use these small little clips that we salvaged earlier to poke them through these holes and connect to this bit of piping that's on the back here. And this actually pulls the skin tight to the seat frame and gives it a sculptured look. So it's important this is done and done correctly. Now, I struggled with these little clips for absolutely ages. They're the most fiddly things in the world. Just a nightmare. Bit of lateral thinking. Seems to be something that's likely to work. I'm going to use cable ties to actually pull this piece of trim back down into the seat frame and just cut them off. Turn the cable ties so that this lump is actually hidden in the wadding, and we should be good. Remember, we had this extra piece of foam. Now I'm going to cut it in 2 bits, and what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to put it underneath this wadding, not on top, because if there's any imperfections it will show through on the seat skin. So if we can bury it further down, what we've then building up is a little bit of a bit of protection before we start getting down into that hard part of the seat frame again. So I'll try that. So what we've done is we've pulled the skin back round. We've now secured it on the lugs on the base of the frame. So the front of the skin is as tight as we're going to get it. We now need to pull the back up and pull that over and inside here. And that's done by just pulling this round, twisting, and she'll slide in. No brute force, just take your time. You know, for an amateur, I think that's pretty good. It's not the tightest in the world. It's going to get some use, it's going to get some wear while I'm actually driving it, but that is a hell of a lot better than it was, and we don't have a big hole in it now. Excellent. Well, there we go. Driver's seat is now inside the car and all's good. Does need a good clean again, I'm afraid. It's got a little bit of dust on it now, but no holes, and that's what we set out to sort out.